Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
What is up, good sir? It is good to be back in the saddle because it has been far too long since I've seen you or the beautiful people of the internet.
Yes, it has been 2 weeks off, and now we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
So,
and ladies and gentlemen, just in case you were wondering, yes, we are just streaming this on Twitch again to see if maybe we could keep our good luck going with the audio. So if you are expecting to find us on Facebook or YouTube, the only time you're probably going to see that is when I post the link of our recorded show.
But if they're listening, if they're trying to find us on YouTube now, they wouldn't know that.
Exactly. So they'll just be like, "Oh man," because when I post it, they'll be notified. Because I make sure that all the subscriber gets notified.
Okay, I think that works.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangouts, a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. At any time during the show, you can drop your questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, opinions in the chat, and we will try to add them to the show. If we do unfortunately run out of time, we'll add it to the very next show. So without further ado, let us get right into it. And the first thing that we are going to talk about is the fact that Bungie is having some interesting issues as of late. It turns out that some Destiny 2 players' names are being just randomly changed.
Randomly changed names?
Yep.
It's like a random number generator for a name. That could be fun.
There is a bug apparently in Destiny 2 right now that is affecting some players' names. Now, of course, Bungie is working on this, and hopefully they can find a solution. But I do find it interesting, of all the things, the update apparently inadvertently changes some of the names.
I'm sure it's not a bug. Maybe it's a feature. Make things interesting. Spice them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I got none.
So apparently the latest update is causing players to lose their original names in Destiny 2.
Well, how important is a name in a video game? It's just a 1 and a 0, right?
True. However, when you're playing an online multiplayer game, your game tag is you. So for your name just to randomly change, probably would cause lots of heart palpitations and probably freakouts and all that fun stuff. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. I mean, that is a very odd bug. I mean, you've seen lots of video games over the years, and it's one I don't really recall happening in other games.
Yes. I don't. Yeah, I've seen. I've seen issues of bugs being introduced where the weapons look weird, or your certain accessories make your character look weird. But I don't remember one of causing your name to change. But hey,
yeah,
there's a first time for everything. Also, speaking of Bungie, let's also talk about the fact that Bungie has had to lay off 220 of their employees.
Mm. I know on the internet there's much consternation over the future of Destiny and Bungie in general. Kind of trying to figure out what is actually going on.
Well, that 220 is actually 17% of the company's workforce. So
it's a good chunk.
Yes. Now, the CEO did come out and said that it was because of the increased cost of development and economic conditions. I understand that, video games are very expensive, but it just sucks that it feels like there's so many jobs being cut. Actually, I do have a number for you, everybody here. So in the past 18 months, there have been more than 20,000 jobs in the game industry lost. Many studios have closed their doors. and venture capital investments have plummeted from 14.6 billion in 2022 to 4.1 billion in 2023. So a third.
It's tricky though, because generally speaking, venture capitalists lead eventually to layoffs.
Right.
Because they have to make their money back somehow, right?
Yep.
And easiest way is let's just fire everyone because we don't really need workers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of companies that are absolute,
all tech right now is kind of in the same boat, unfortunately.
Yeah. Speaking of companies that are absolute kryptonite, Embracer apparently is shocked that their sales continue to plummet.
Well, that's just kind of a repeat we could have every single week on the show.
It's true. And I believe this kind of is a repeat that we have every single week on the show. That being, of course, that we've seen layoffs and companies close.
Yeah.
Speaking of companies closing, I didn't even know this thing was still a thing, but Game Informer, the magazine, is finally completely 100% done, and GameStop has laid off their entire staff for Game Informer.
It is, I mean, I know it's print, so yeah, nobody does print anymore, but it is still, every time that happens, it's still, to me, a little bit of a sad evolution of the world we live in.
Yes.
And what also kind of stinks is they completely shuttered the online access to digital copies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a double whammy of a little bit of history there. I mean, it was like back in the day, you'd be at, the Barnes & Noble or the Borders or the, whatever your store of choice was.
Books A Million.
Media Play.
Ooh.
And like you would check out the video game books and be like, what's coming out? And you could check out all the cool 2/3D polygons of the future of gaming.
Of course.
And then potentially get that CD to fix that crazy bug you had in the game that you couldn't get elsewhere.
Ah, yes, the patch CDs.
Yes. So it is always interesting to me that when I still go to like Barnes & Noble stores when they still have a pretty decent periodical section of magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So there obviously is still a market for it.
Right.
But it's not surprising, though, that video games would be one that don't survive because, well, they're video games and they're digital. And the world of video game consumer of content has gone to online, be it YouTube, Twitch, reviews on, Metacritic or Steam or what have you.
Don't say Metacritic. I fucking hate Metacritic.
The reality is the reality as much as you want to put your head in the sand. Yeah. I just made Charlie throw up a little in his mouth on the show.
Yes, it's Metacritic. I guess we'll get out. Let's get one more sad bit of news out of the way, and that is the fact that the voice actor behind characters such as Jessie and Misty from all the Pokemon stuff. Her name is Rachel Lillis. She unfortunately passed away. She at the age of 46, she lost her battle with breast cancer.
Cancer sucks.
Cancer indeed sucks. Yeah. Sad days.
Indeed.
All right. Let's talk about some. Well, it's not really happy news, but it makes me giggle because I think the developer behind a certain game, Braid, the gentleman's name is Jonathan Blow. I believe he is completely a ridiculous individual. He is very angry and concerned over the fact that his re-release of Braid, the anniversary edition, in his own words, has sold like dog shit. And now he is concerned that his studio future is uncertain because of the results of such low sales. Now, Jonathan Blow, for those of you who do not know or maybe do not remember, is the individual that upon releasing Braid into the wild decided to personally critique everyone's YouTube video if they were playing the game incorrectly in his own mind. So, I mean, he's made some interesting games, but I really don't have any sympathy for this guy because the guy's a cuckoo, crazy man.
And Braid was a great game.
It was a great game.
Great game. But I guess my question is, what does the anniversary edition have that was not already there? I'm not really seeing like a whole lot of anything special coming out of the anniversary edition versus like what was already there. And just kind of looking at, his Steam store, he basically has Braid Anniversary, and then like 2 other games.
Yep. The Witness, right?
Yeah, The Witness, and then I don't even know if it's a game so much as it's like a first-person puzzle collection, whatever the hell that is. Mm-hmm. So, like, on one hand, like, I'm never a fan of somebody's, business shutting down.
Right.
But on the other hand, Braid's been out since 2014.
Yep.
And like, at some point, you got to create new games, and there's only, so many versions of a game that people are going to buy. And let's be honest, Braid's a pretty old game, 2014. So a lot of probably the people who are in the puzzle platformers are into that type of thing, which I'm one of those. I got it many years ago, and like, I'm not going to buy it again because I don't see a reason to. So it really shouldn't be very shocking of a news that the anniversary edition didn't do anything exciting, because just looking at the Steam page, I don't see anything exciting about it that I didn't already have.
So it was a remaster of the game with fully recreated artwork and over 15 hours of developer commentary, which, to be honest with you, if there's anything like his comments on the YouTube videos from back in the day, I don't think I could last 15 hours of dealing with him.
Well, the thing is, so people who honestly care about developer commentary, that I'm going to go on a limb here, that's an extreme minority.
Yes.
Most people aren't going to give a shit about that. Mm-hmm. Unless you're like, Sid Meier or like a Steve Romero or like one of the really big names.
Will Wright.
Yeah, like those people, they might care, but outside of that, nobody's going to honestly care. Mm-hmm. And like a 2D puzzle platformer like Braid, the graphics were fine already. Yeah. Like, I didn't see a reason to like, when I played the game, it's not like, oh no, the graphics are not great, I want better graphics. Like, that is not an issue with the game in the first place. So I hope it doesn't shut down, because I'm never a fan of that, but I'm also like a little bit of, like, you've had one game since Braid.
Yep.
I mean, not that we're necessarily fans of it, but look how often they pump out the new FIFAs and Maddens and all that shit. They do it for a reason. It makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to sell the content if you want to stay open. So I would be curious. It is kind of an interesting one, though. He's basically made 2 games since 2014, and that's like sustained his livelihood, is kind of impressive.
So Braid was originally released in 2008. And then The Witness was released in 2016. So, but it's still been 8 years since he released something.
So I guess Braid on Steam was 2014. And because that's what I saw for the date. Oh, never mind. I can't actually read. I lied. Some reason 2024 looked like 2014 to me. So 2008's even older. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. I wish I made a game that could sustain me for basically 20 years.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be real nice. I don't know how well that would work, but real nice, real nice.
Well, someday when we release Crystals of Pride in the video game.
Why don't we just figure a way to make it a tabletop? How about that?
Just use RPG Maker. It's fine.
Oh my God, dude! Are you trying to piss me off? Like Jesus. Zealeus, you're killing me, dude.
It's my life goal. My life goal.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyways, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something exciting. I know that this is like old news at this point, but I want to chit chat about it anyways, because we haven't had a show like Zealeus and I were saying. This is, we had 2 weeks off, and in that time, a certain master villain for the MCU was revealed. The actor behind the super massive villain was revealed. And of course, there's a lot of opinions on the fact that Robert Downey Jr. will be donning the mask of Dr. Doom. So, Zealeus, how do you feel about it?
I mean, it's obviously a sign to me that the MCU is flailing. That's why they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back. Like, if phase, I don't know what the hell phase we're on anymore. But if the current phase, where relatively speaking, as successful as the previous phases, basically leading up to Endgame, I still think that'd be a closed chapter. But because
we're in phase
their
4.
movies, what's that?
Phase 5.
I feel like it was phase 4 was the.
We're in phase 5 now.
Yeah, I think phase 4 was Endgame, if I remember right. So phase 5 that we're in, I guess, like, because it basically hasn't been as successful as the previous phases, the big wigs are like, oh my gosh, we need to pull the emergency hatch and do what we can. The question is, like, when it comes down to, are they going to be able to get the original, MCU magic again?
Mm-hmm.
That works so well with, obviously, him as Iron Man. Like, I don't like or dislike it, honestly. Like, I know there's a lot of strong opinions out there. I'm just kind of like, interesting. And I guess what will be interesting to see is how do they actually do transition from Iron Man to Doctor Doom? Or do they just introduce him and just act like Iron Man didn't exist? Like, I assume there has to be some continuality between the two.
Well, he's not Tony Stark now.
There has to be some continuality. Like, if there's zero continuality, that's dumb. Even if you have to have like a flimsy excuse that somehow Tony Stark, as we knew him, became Doctor Doom, do it. But just like all of a sudden, Robert Downey Jr., we all know he is, just shows up as Doctor Doom with absolutely no backstory as far as how he got from Iron Man to here. A little bit bizarre.
Robert Downey Jr. will be or is recast as Dr. Victor Von Doom. He is not Tony Stark.
It's bizarre to me. It's bizarre. I don't know. I guess I'm also not somebody who's ever read Marvel comics.
Yeah.
So as far as like, I'm sure some strong opinions come out there from people who read the comics and understand the backstory of Doctor Doom, et cetera, et cetera. So as far as that goes, I have zero feeling because I really don't even know. I guess Doctor Doom is another Omega threat level bad person or something. Oh no.
He apparently, oh my gosh. Now this is going back in time. Do you remember the magazine Wizard?
Yes.
Okay, so he is ranked number 4 by Wizard of in a list of 101 greatest villains of all time.
Well, a part of the problem with that is, because I've looked a little bit into it, and like people are posting the screen grab of basically Doctor Doom like crushing Thanos with Infinity Gauntlet like it was nothing, as like a comparison. But I guess with most villains and heroes for that matter, there's various retcons and levels of power that they've had throughout the whole history of Marvel Comics.
Right.
So, like, what threat level of Doctor Doom do we get? Basically, I guess is the question. Like, do we get the version where he's super crazy powerful? I don't know what the terms are. Or basically he crushes Thanos like nothing. Um, because it'd be a hard time believing that the Marvel heroes could defeat him if that's the case, because they had such a bad time with Thanos in the first place. So, yay! I mean,
So he's sorcery and technology.
Yeah, I mean, basically since Endgame, I just haven't really cared about the MCU. And probably part of that is not having Disney Plus to watch any of the shows.
Yeah.
And so, like, when it was in the theaters and I had a reason, and they were good, I would go watch them all.
Yeah.
But now you got the TV shows and there's the movies and all that stuff. I just haven't really cared, honestly. Now, if they magically showed up on Netflix or Prime tomorrow, yeah, I'd probably watch them. That's the reason I've watched all the DC Snyder movies, is because they were on between Amazon and Netflix. I've seen them all now. But I just haven't cared. And I don't plan Disney Plus anytime soon, so I probably will continue to, not have any geek cred and just not really care either way.
Yeah.
What about you as an actual comic book reader?
To be totally honest with you, I think that Robert Downey Jr. is a fine selection, but I think, in my opinion, I want to see more of him behind the mask than without the mask. That's just my opinion.
Well, it's tricky because that's kind of like why they took the mask off of Master Chief and Halo, is because the screenwriters seem to believe, rightly or wrongly, that audiences don't want to watch a mask for 2 hours. They want to actually see, have that human connection to a face.
Right.
So it's a valid question. Yeah.
I don't know. V for Vendetta did it well.
Oh yeah, no, V for Vendetta did it great. But again, that was a great movie in general. Great storyline, great acting.
Yep.
It had it all.
Yep.
And they relied on that. Like, it was a movie where it's like, we have great writing. We don't need to have cheap tricks like that. So I think if you do have a good story with great writing, you don't need to see the human face. You can just get away with the mask if you have a good movie in the first place. And let's be honest, taking off the mask isn't just going to magically fix bad writing.
Right. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But it's definitely star power at the very least.
That's why they're doing it. Yeah. They want the power.
Yes.
And what will Spider-Man do? Like, Spider-Man's going to see Dr. Doom and be like, I'm so confused.
If you're going for the continuation and he looks like, did anybody tell you ever look like Tony Stark? That's so weird.
You sound like him. You look like him.
Yeah. I hope that he at least attempts to speak differently, to try to distance himself from the fast ladies man Tony Stark that he was.
I mean, I would assume he'd be more in the vein of like a Thanos, a serious, somber villain.
Well, he's supposed to be from Romania, I think. Isn't it right, Romania?
I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is from Romania, last I checked.
No, Dr. Doom.
I know, but that's what I mean. You have a non-Romanian actor being Romanian.
A Latvian Romani people.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alta Confusion be the Alta Confusion that you love and adore. And these, of course, are the friends of the show. So, without further ado, let us start off with The Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to Noodleboy Media, the AV master himself. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodleboy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. And now that he's based out of Baltimore, I wonder what kind of conventions he's going to be going to. The next shout out we got to give is to an individual who's actually at my house today to help ease all those aches and pains from gaming too long and just life in general. That, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And the last shout out we got to give is to the original backer of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now I know that you're dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite simple, and I will tell you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives and loves support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, werewolves, swamp creatures, vampires, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have 2 tiers. We got the $1 tier, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. What you get at that tier is early access to all of our playthroughs, as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts. Now, if you're feeling a little frisky and you've got a little extra change, you could go to the $5 a month. That's $5. The $5 tier is $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only get you everything at the $1 tier, but it also gets your name and organization added to the Friends of the Show of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. The next shout out we got to give is to just celebrate the fact that Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best. Game to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion. And I can't stress the fact that I always am very, very happy for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So,
of course, because you actually like kids, which is a strange thing, but that's okay.
Well, it's because my kids have benefited from children's health care, and I have actually benefited from children's health care when I was but a wee lad.
If only you didn't fall through the roofs and be more careful in your young age.
Or get fish hooks in my head. That's a crazy world.
That is definitely a paranoia of mine when I go fishing.
Yeah, I don't allow anybody to have their back to me anymore. Let's just put it that way.
It's probably a smart thing.
Yes. Okay, now let's talk about let's talk about a weird topic. Actually, you know what? Let's go real quick over one thing, and then we'll go talk about the real topic, the big topic for this evening. Netflix has announced that they are going to make a new Ghostbuster animated series. This series could potentially serve as sequels to recent films, aiming to bring franchise back into its comedic roots. So I remember when I was small, the animated cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, which was great. It was hilarious. It was silly. It was stupid. I'll be very interested to see where they take if this actually really comes to fruition, because let's be honest, there's a lot of TV shows, movies, games that they say, it's been greenlit by this company. There is still a very good chance that thing will never see the light of day.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry, but it would be interesting to see where they would take this version of Ghostbusters.
Which version? The most recent one, the all girls version, the old school one? We have so many different reboots and boots.
Well, okay, so if you take the all girl one out, which I did not have a problem with. Let me just put that out there. I know that
I mean, it was a movie. It wasn't good or bad. It was a movie.
It was, from my understanding, it was much better than the Borderlands movie.
Well, from my understanding, pretty much
anything is.
It's apparently it's maybe a step above Ooey Ball, which doesn't actually say anything.
I've heard that it's not even to the Ooey Bowl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem with the Ooey Bowl movies is basically outside Jason Statham. The actors were pretty you ever actually watch Blood Rain? It was kind of painful just from the acting alone.
True.
Where at least you have good actors. I know there's some controversial choices for the actors, don't get me wrong, but at least there's people who can actually act in the Borderlands movie. It's just, the whole script and execution, being in development.
The fact that it's PG-13 instead of R.
Pretty much everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Yeah, so someday when it comes to Netflix or Amazon Prime, I'll watch it.
We should watch it together, and have lots of adult beverages to help get us through it. From my understanding, there's quite a few people who've asked for refunds after seeing the movie. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, but it's just kind of dumb, because if you knew anything or had a brain, you'd realize it was going to be pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anybody's under any illusion, based on all the reports, all the pre-screenings and everything, were pretty much saying the same thing. That's trash. And apparently it's headed for the lowest, basically, gross of a movie ever.
Oh, now that would be an interesting goal or award.
Yeah. It's like the anti-Deadpool and Wolverine, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Deadpool and Wolverine's breaking every single record known to man. And then you have the Borderland movie, which breaking
Borderlands, we kind of heard it was going to be bad, and then it was confirmed. So everyone's like, okay, don't need to see that.
Yep.
Whereas Deadpool and Wolverine were like, this might be good. And everyone who saw it was like, this is awesome.
It is awesome.
Everyone's like, all right, let's go see it. So it's which again shows, and this is what pisses me off about Borderlands being PG-13.
Yep.
Is we've seen time and time again, Deadpool has worked. I mean, Oppenheimer was a rated R movie. We've seen good rated R movies work better than shitty, dumbed down PG-13 movies when they need to be rated R.
Yep.
Because the problem is, I mean, I haven't seen Borderlands, but I'm going to go on a wild assumption here that they tried doing the Borderlands humor
without all the violence.
Yeah, but you can't do Borderlands humor without the rated R aspect. It's just dumb. Like, it just doesn't work. So I think that's the problem, would be my assumption, just everything I know about it. And yes, Borderlands should be rated R because that's what makes it great. Make rated R movies great again.
Agreed. I'm just curious to see where what it's rated on Rotten Tomatoes now. Oh, it's gone up from a 0 to a 10.
I was gonna say a 4.
It's now a 10.
Wow. Is it gonna be like the worst rated movie basically of all time, or close to that?
It's gonna be close.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple out there that are single digits.
It's gonna get some Razzie Awards.
Oh God, yes. It's gonna rake the Razzies in, man. It's gonna be nuts.
And of course, it's always curious to see like who takes it seriously and gets the award for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because some actors are like, "Oh yeah, I accept this Razzie," and some are like, "Nope, I'm too cool for this."
Let's see. Ooh, there are a couple zeros.
Ooh, any like well-known zeros?
Ballistic X verse Sever.
Oh, okay, yes, that was I actually saw that, and it's so bad because I think sometimes what gets movies bad ratings, and this includes Borderlands, it has such potential.
Yeah.
Because I remember right, Ballistic was like Lucy Liu and Antonio Banderas.
Yep.
And like it should have been great because both of them are good actors. They both can do action flicks, and it just was so bad. And same thing with Borderlands. Like it should not be that bad. And I think that's what sucks about because there's going to be worse movies out there, but I definitely think, and rightfully so, that the potential of a movie to be good definitely plays into that rating.
Oh yeah. How about ooh. Really? Problem Child. That's 0.
I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
It's a terrible comedy movie with I can't remember his name now. But I'm just looking real quick here. Simon Says, starring Dennis Rodman.
Oh, was that the one that also had Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, I think that was the follow-up to that one.
Okay. Because I know him and Jean-Claude Van Damme did one, and it was not good, but you also have to go into it realizing I'm watching a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman. So there's definitely expectations. You take those expectations into account, it can be entertaining enough.
Yeah. And then one more, just this isn't a 0, but it's a 1, and that was the potential horror movie. It had its scary moments, I guess. Alone in the Dark, which was based off a video game, starring Christian Slater, who's scared of the dark. So yeah. Anyways, so moving on. Oh, now this, of course, is going to date me, but that's okay. I don't really care. There once upon a time was a TV station that basically was created to house all the Hanna-Barbera movies. Or sorry, not Hanna-Barbera TV shows. Hanna-Barbera, of course, is like, um, oh my gosh, like the Flintstones and the Jetsons and Captain Caveman and all that stuff. Well, it turns out that there the streaming service Boomerang, which is where all those shows were being held, is being shut down. Now, in good news, a lot of those shows, I don't know if all of them, but a huge chunk of them are going over to Max. Now, remember, Max is HBO's streaming platform, but for some reason they decided to drop the HBO part and just call it Max.
Do they go by HBO for anything anymore? Or is it just like Max? Is that it now?
I don't know. I think if you're inside Max, you could probably see HBO somewhere. And a little bit of trivia for those who really want to know, HBO stands for Home Box Office.
Yes. And it was like the premier thing back in the day.
Yeah, dude. I still remember their weird, like, Beetlejuice-esque town intro that they used to do.
So I remember when Wimbledon was on HBO. So it looks like their broadcasting or their studio house is still HBO. So like House of Dragon, The Last of Us, etc. is all HBO.
Got it.
But it streams on Max.
There you go.
So, and my guess is they do that so Max can include other content other than HBO, and it's not weird.
Yeah. Well, Cartoon Network, all their stuff is on Max now.
Yeah. So in that regard, okay. It kind of like Netflix, I guess, where obviously they have Netflix original content, but they have other stuff too.
Yeah. Which reminds me, if you do have Max and you're an anime fan, you have to watch Ninja Kamui.
It's kind of funny because that was HBO's thing back in the day. HBO was basically the Netflix to get all those movies back in the day.
Yep. Indeed. All right, let's talk about the crazy. Let's talk about the story that I've been trying to hold off on, and that is Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, however you want to go at it. So let's see here. It's been about 10 days, I think, since so basically Wizards of the Coast sent out the 5.5 edition Player's Handbook, and they gave it to a lot of like YouTubers and influencers and whatever to kind of hype it up, and then they lifted their review embargo on August the 1st, and so a lot of people were, of course, as anybody who's an influencer or whatever, as soon as an embargo is gone, you want to put your content up as fast as possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so as a result, as a little bit of a surprise, what happened was there were a ton of YouTubers that were getting hit with copyright. Oh my gosh. Copyright
strikes.
And of course, YouTube has the 3 strikes and you're out.
Oh yeah.
And so, but the crazy thing is, it was Wizards of the Coast that were dealing out these copyright strikes to these individuals that they gave the material to, and these individuals were, following the rules, but apparently they didn't like the fact that that the individuals were actually showing off the book, which is just weird.
So I guess that was the copyright claim, was by showing the book, you're basically copyright infringement.
Yes. So by showing the book and sections of the book in the video, individuals were getting hit with the copyright strikes.
That's rough.
Which is just ridiculous. I mean,
they really like pissing off their audience. And like the hardcore, the irony, I mean, and kind of the irony of D&D is it's like other games, like let's take video games for instance, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to basically have social interaction to play the games.
Right.
You don't need to have a community. Even online games like Fortnite, etc. Like people play solo. I mean, I know you're playing against other people, but they're still playing solo at their desk and shit all the time. So like you don't need to have that community aspect. They'll still succeed. I mean, hell, if anything, like the community makes the game worse or toxic as shit. Versus a game like D&D or the tabletops, like without that community, it's not going to work. Like it's a part of the requirement for tabletop RPGs to be successful. So there's a bit of irony there where Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, whoever it is, basically like alienating probably some of their, in this case, would be their more hardcore fans, who are probably also ones like spreading the good word of Dungeons and Dragons,
right,
and the ones getting their friends to play.
So, in order for these individuals to get their stuff back up, what they were forced to do was they had to blur anytime they showed off the book or the pages. One of the YouTubers actually said, I blurred out pictures of the book after Hasbro sent me an email saying they worried people would take screenshots of the book and build their own.
Oh, good Lord. That's a little excessive. Actually, not a little. That's just stupidly excessive.
And to be honest with you, it's totally in line with how Hasbro does business the vast majority of the time.
I mean, I get it. Like, if I'm going to take this book, and I'm going to this page. I hope I don't get those copyright struck, by the way. And I'm going to go to the next page.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you read it. Like, that I get. Like, because that's like a different very intent.
Right.
But I'm just going like pages here and there to give like examples of this, what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, that matters big time to me. And so, like, that they're doing that, it's BS, is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It sucks. Because it's also like because the audience of those are also going to be people who are interested in D&D. Mm-hmm. So they're the ones who are going to want to be looking at these, checking them out. So just, yeah.
But here's the thing, okay? So let's think about this. If an individual is going out of their way to watch a video, a review, a critique of the latest and greatest versions of Dungeons & Dragons, in my mind, I don't know, maybe I'm just freaking crazy or something, but in my mind, this individual is watching this video is very likely already got their wallet in hand to actually buy the thing. They just want someone that they trust to tell them that it is worth it.
Yep, 100%. And like, if people really want the book that badly, and they're going to try like looking at YouTube videos to get them, they're just going to go on the parapet. Like, people aren't, I think, I'd love to be proved wrong, they're not going on YouTube to effectively pirate an entire dungeon compendium. It's silly.
Hold on, I'm just give me 1 second. I'm going to grab one of the old player handbooks just to see how many pages are in there. So 1 sec.
Yeah, as Charlie grabs that, like, it's not like it's just the player compendium. Because if you play Dungeons and Dragons, people have like the monster compendium. They have the campaign compendium. They have their own custom random bullshit they've made up ahead of time. So like, even if you just have the base compendium, it's so much more than just that. There's all the other weird, crazy books that go into it.
All right, so this is the 4th edition.
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook.
Yep. Oh no, you showed it!
I showed the cover.
How dare you!
And there is 317 pages.
Good gosh.
So what you're telling me is that there's someone out there who's combing through every single person's YouTube video to try to find page 1 through 317, just for example, to to print double-sided, probably at their local Kinko's, and then bind it in a binder so that they can save the $35.
Dear God, have you printed at Kinko's lately?
I know.
They cost a whole lot more.
I know. Color, man, color. I mean, there's being overprotective, and then there's just being psychotically.
Yeah, this is a bit much. I agree. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot defending this one from Hasbro Wizards of the Coast.
To be honest with you, I've ever since a certain individual who has been a friend of Alter Confusion got taken to court by Hasbro, I've kind of just soured on any time that Hasbro goes, "We're in the right," and I'm immediately thinking probably not.
But alas, when you've got the big monies, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Those deep pockets, man. Those deep pockets.
Yeah. Even if you're in the right, unfortunately, that's not always a defense.
Agreed. You know.
Yeah.
But still. Yeah. Anyways, I don't have any more topics. We flew through the topics as faster than I thought we were going to. So I unfortunately am out. I do want to say that let's see if I can't mess my computer up by doing this. I have a couple of different games that I'm thinking about doing the next early access playthrough for. I'm heavily leaning towards probably The Expanse, the Telltale game. However, it could be Tales of a Neon Sea, The Hand of Glory, or Tales Noir Preludes, because I do have the first Tales Noir playthrough already up. So something to think about for me.
Nice.
Huh?
Nice.
Indeed. Yeah, I really got nothing. Zealeus, what have you been playing?
Mostly on my end. Well, when I was out of town, I was playing back again to Civilization 6 on the Switch. That's always a good game to play when you're mobile on the go.
Of course.
And then back home, I've still been playing myself some Final Fantasy 14.
I decided since that was the other thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed that Alter Confusion was absolutely 100% absent last week, and that was because the internet was gone from my house.
What? No!
Yes. So a branch fell down and basically knocked the power line out of the house.
Oof.
And the cable line also runs from that same pole, so the cable line was right underneath it. So when they fixed the power, they had to cut the cable, and it was like moving the gosh darn earth to get Xfinity out here to basically reconnect the coax cable from the pole across the street to my house. It took them an entire week. So whatever is 7 times 24. Actually, I'm going to find that out right quick here. 7 times 24. That was 168 hours of no internet, which in a world where, or in a household that has 2 remote workers and relies on streaming services to watch TV, so we missed out on basically all the Olympics. Yeah, it was a real fun week.
You should send the bill back for your pain and suffering and lack of ability to do work.
Oh no, they credited us because I was that angry of a person that checked in on them every single day. After they told me that it would be 48 to 72 hours.
Well, so they don't know how to count.
Or their version of 48 and or in 72 hours is a different reality than the rest of the world.
They were saying in business hours, like 72 business hours, and there's only 8 hours in a business day.
That's what I was like. You better, you sons of bitches.
So there you go. So
yeah,
according to their own calculations, they are always right.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Whatever you say.
All right. So I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the new, oh my gosh, Dragon Age game that's eventually coming out. They've said, because you've played the other Dragon Age games,
yes.
and a staple of them is you can control your entire party.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those RPGs, that's kind of staple. Even Dragon Age 2, which was more like a ARPG than anything else, you can still control your party at least. But they've come out and said the new Dragon Age, I forget the title, but you will only be able to control your primary player because there's going to be so much going on that players won't be able to handle controlling all the party. So
you can't even issue commands?
Apparently not. So how do you feel about that? Because to me, that's always been one of the big things with like Dragon Age, Baldur's Gate type of games too, because that's kind of where they come from.
Right.
Is like the party feel, and like you get to know the fighter, the mage, the healer, and whoever else you got to go, and you can like do this stuff with them. So how do you feel about that change in pace for Dragon Age?
To be honest with you, and I know that this is this word, or I guess couple of words, is a very touchy subject right now, but if the AI is good enough, then I think I'll be okay. Now, like, for example, stupid AI, Starfield is a great example when you're doing a stealth mission and you forgot that you have a companion still attached to you and you're trying to sneak around and your companion's just walking down the middle of the fucking room. That's not smart AI. So if that's the type of AI that's going to be in the new Dragon Age, then I may be smashing my head into a wall. But something tells me that it will probably be more. I would hazard to guess that you could probably set the type of like
aggressive,
yes,
passive,
yes,
yeah, I know,
supportive, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would hope you
behavior.
Yeah, most games that's like a BioWare type of thing where like you can control your team some, but most players don't in BioWare type games.
Yeah,
but they have like the whole like what to do when you're full health, 50% health, quarter health, that type of stuff.
And then I think I'll be okay. I mean, sometimes Baldur's Gate, of course, you're constantly having to bounce between all your characters because shit's happening. And basically any of those games.
Yeah.
But in the Dragon Age game, I think I'm trying to remember. There's been 3 Dragon Age games. The first, I do not recognize the second one.
I liked the second one. It was fun.
It was so stupid and was so unlike BioWare for pushing out a game way too before its time.
Oh.
Anyways,
you mean like Anthem?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yes, oh Lord. Anyways. No, I think that you'd be fine with it. I think it'll be a little bit annoying if I'm sure there's going to be situations where your character is going to do something, your support characters are going to do something slightly stupid and may cost you a fight. And you probably will be screaming bloody murder. But at the end of the day, my play style is usually the Rambo kind of, I run in there, please try to just save my ass in the end.
Let's do it. We got this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see the game, and I'll probably get lost in it and put in way too many hours. I mean, hell, for those of you who tuned in this past Tuesday for my stream, I actually went back to a game that I've already spent 148 hours in. Well, 145 hours in because I just added 3 more on Tuesday. and started from scratch, by the way.
Are you going to continue to play it?
Huh?
Are you going to continue to play it knowing that?
I might play it for a little bit longer just to kind of mess around and see. They've got a new mode, and I probably should have done the mode, but I was kind of afraid it had been a while since I had played the game. So one of the reasons why I started from scratch was I wanted to remember like all the keys and whatnot.
That's fair. It's like we mentioned before, especially like for JRPGs, they need like act like I need a first hour of the game tutorial, even though I have 100 hours logged.
Yep.
That's all I need. I just remember how to play the game, and then I'm good from there. Yeah.
It's especially if it's real time. If it's if it's turn based, then I'm pretty sure I could kind of piece things together. But when it's real time, when you have to switch between your mining laser and your gun and the terrain manipulator and the key to build structures and how to get into your inventory and how to do a quick sort and all that stuff. I mean,
I'm already confused.
Yeah.
I just want to press W and kill. Is that too much to ask?
What about the rest of the keys, Zealeus?
S is for sissies.
I never back up.
I disable my S key when I play video games.
I only do W, A, and D. Screw trying to walk backwards.
I might strafe a little, but that's about it.
That's what Q and E is for. But yeah, no. I'll probably play a little bit more of it. I needed a game to play, and I had played a ton of Legends of Runeterra on my phone on Tuesday, so I just really wasn't feeling that. And Smite 2 is coming out soon, so I mean, I might dip my toe in that pond. I don't know.
Ooh. The problem is I don't know how Smite 2 is going to fix the community toxicity. Because that's what drove me away in the first time.
Yeah, same here.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's not a Smite issue. It's a online PvP oriented game issue.
Yes, that's the unfortunate thing. But we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Zealeus, do you have any closing thoughts?
Dragon Con is in 2 weeks.
Holy.
Yes. I'm excited because I have things I have to make.
Dude, there's some big names going to Dragon Con. Of course, there's always big names going to Dragon
Con.
Oh,
there are. No, this year is a pretty, actually, for like the big names, it's a pretty solid year, honestly.
Yeah.
The names when they kept coming in, I was like, damn. Now my thing is so when we go to Dragon Con, we'll usually do the Walk of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I've only actually got one person's autograph, and it's John Barrowman, because I came as a TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Captain Jack Harkness.
Of course.
But outside of that, it's just fun to just walk around the Walk of Fame and just kind of see the famous people.
Yeah.
The tricky part is, so like, they all have panels, or a lot of them, not a lot, but some of them have panels.
Mm-hmm.
And the panels for the famous people are always tricky because the lines are stupidly long. But Dragon Con also, and understandably, they have a rule where you're not supposed to form a line more than an hour beforehand.
Right.
But inevitably, it happens anyways.
Of course.
So because this very awkward situation of the unofficial line has started, but is it actually the line? So a lot of times I don't even go to the famous people panels because I just don't really feel like standing in line. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
For maybe I'm in the right line, maybe I'm not in the right line, and also like usually it's like 90 degrees out in the middle of the day in Atlanta, sitting like outside, which also is not always terribly fun, to be honest.
Yep.
So yeah. But yeah, it always it feels like it's like they're actually, if it's your thing, they're actually in the upward trajectory post-COVID as far as popularity and people attending.
I mean, John Cleese is going to be there, which is nuts.
I didn't hear you.
John Cleese, part of Monty Python.
We'll see if the Spanish Inquisition shows up.
Yes. That would be fun.
How many people are going to bring coconuts?
Oh, God. There's so many. Oh, my gosh. There's, I mean, Nathan Fillion, of course. He's always there.
I mean, it's
Jonathan Frakes. That's the Picard's right-hand man, Will Riker.
Yep.
I mean, god dang, dude.
Big guest list. Yeah, they have a good list. So
it's a very good list, but also I just looking at this, I'm kind of like internally cringing because of like how close people are going to be, and there's going to be so many. Seth Green's going to be there. There's going to be so many people.
Oh, all the hobbits are coming.
Oh my God, Gary Gygax's son is going to be there. Why?
Huh.
Why?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Lord of the Rings fanboys because of that.
Hey, there's my author guy, John Hartness.
Nice.
Will be there.
Oh yeah, no, they always have the authors. I wonder if Jenny Warts will be there this year. She's been there a lot.
Jim Butcher's going to be there. For those of you who don't know who Jim Butcher, that's the Dresden Files guy.
I know Elijah Wood's going to have one nutty line. Ooh, Ming Na Wen.
Steve Jackson, the guy behind Munchkins.
No way.
Yep.
Danny Trejo.
Stuart Jaffe. Oh, man, that's a lot of good books by him, too. Shit.
Catherine Tate. You always have to have somebody from Doctor Who.
Dan Jolie's going to be there.
Oh, see, maybe you need to come because all your authors are going to be there.
As much as I would love to go, I can't.
Oh, John Scalzi. I actually know him.
Man, this is okay. Anyways, but instead of just running down this list, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to Eloy. Okay, anyways, stop looking at the list, Charlie. All right. Anyways, before we go even further off topic,
fanboying, let's do it.
I know, fanboying, yay! Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving everything from our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.